as a biker, everybody dreams of certain milestones to achieve. So have you achieved your milestone?
I think as a biker, one can never achieve their milestone. After completing one milestone, it's another that we always run for. Biking is something which is every boy's dream. It's a bike driven with passion, not just commuting from one place to the other. Biking community, it's a feeling of brotherhood, of being one, of respect, of care. Just ride, ride, ride. Not even thinking where to go, how to go. It's just the machine, petrol dali, nikle. So yeah, the Sanjay Dutt's dialogue.
अब जैकेट पहनो, बाइक निकालो, गोवा जाओ. पेट्रोल का पैसा, रास्ते में नाश्ता, दिमाग का भेजा फ्राई. ना रास्ते का भरोसा, ना मौसम का भरोसा. कौन भरेगा पैसा?
ले नहीं किया. I was like always telling them, guys, ले करना चाहिए, ले करना चाहिए. So this time when the opportunity came, I said, कितना देना है? And the ride was to achieve a target of reaching the highest motorable point, that's Omlingla, which is at 19,024 feet. At such a height, you get low oxygen. We even got the certificates were given to us. We didn't realize what those certificates were until we came back and when we saw that we were given the Guinness Book of World Record. Just the dire pleasure or the sheer pleasure of achieving or riding through a new terrain altogether. That was something. The dragon chooses its rider. So here also the bike chooses its own rider. Your bike will be waiting for you till you go and meet it. Your bike will never fail you, but it is your mind that fails you when you are at a tough spot. The bike is known to only go forward and your mind stops it at times, and that's when you fall. So you need to know exactly how to deliver yourself to the best. We were on a road traversing, I think we were going to Rameshwaram. So I slowed on my bike, but before I could even stop my bike, I turned. And when I turn, your body turns, and then the whole bike turned. And that's when my bike slipped.
What does biking community mean to you?
So biking community does not mean just bikes, or people riding bikes. Biking community, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of brotherhood, of being one, of respect, of care. So it's a lot of things that goes with it. There's a lot of emotions. There are a lot of passion. It's a bike driven with passion, not just commuting from one place to the other, but it's a journey from a place to a destination, and all the memories that you create when you ride from one point to another point.
So having said that, it sounds that you yourself are very passionate about bikes. So are you a part of any passionate group of bikers?
Yes. Pune Brotherhood Riders.
Okay.
So we are one of the best in the cities. I think we have one of the greatest collections of all the bikes, you call it, from the Harley Davidsons to the BMWs, to the Benellis, to you name it, the Hayabusas, the Kawasaki's. And I must say, more than the bikes, it's the riders that we connect with. So Pune Brotherhood it's a very close-knit community in which we are made to feel like we are one. We are a part of each other, who know each other in and out. Even if we don't know some of them totally, but when we bike or when we go for a ride, it's totally the machines, the care, the bond that goes with it. So yes, Pune Brotherhood Riders is the one.
So tell me something about your biking journey. When was your first ride and how did you decide to be a biker?
Before I tell you about my biking journey, I would like to talk about my bikes.
Okay.
So bikes for me is, it's very special. I bought my first super bike. That's a Harley Davidson Sportster 1200cc, and I have ridden it for years now. Uh, I remember I kept riding, the day I bought it, and for a few years, it was the only machine I knew. And I just needed a buzz from my group, and like we're going somewhere, and that's it. Just ride, ride, ride. Not even thinking where to go, how to go. It's just the machine, petrol dali, nikle. So yeah, the Sanjay Dutt's dialogue, वो tanki full karo, bike में डालो, jacket पहनो and all that. So that's, and the other one which I have is a Benelli TRK 502X. It's an adventure bike. In India, we usually don't have roads. So I realized after riding my Harley, it's a low rider. So, a little bump and I used to get that. So I also was very fascinated with this whole adventure biking, wherein off-roading and all. So I wanted some which is not very powerful, but powerful. So TRK 502X is one bike which I really love, and I can take it anywhere. Road, water, if it was air, udhar bhi chalti thi. But yeah, it's one bike I can ride anywhere.
So, guys, you heard it. He has a luxury bike and an adventure bike. Now, that's quite a combination.
So, biking has been, I think biking is something which is every boy's dream or every child's dream, where especially, I remember when, we used to walk, or we're at some place and suddenly we hear vroom, vroom, and we all turning, and as kids, very excitedly looking out to see which bikes are going. And mostly we didn't know what those bikes were, except for there were sports bikes with those who have a lot of noise, and it's that whole thing, throttle and all that stuff. We were not familiar with those words earlier. So definitely, but so that always made us feel we should have, or one should own a bike. Not just any bike, but a luxury bike or a sports bike, which gives you that mean adrenaline rush. So I remember my first bike was a Bullet or an Enfield 350. That was long back as a kid, but I used to ride it like as if it was royal to me. And though I didn't ride it for a very long time, but yeah, with life we get into a lot of things. But I think once we hit a certain age, that's when we feel like we need to actually own something and be something. So I think that little kid of Bullet Raja stayed back, and that's how I've come across, and now owning two super luxury bikes, and I think I love it. So Harley Davidson and Benelli TRK is one, or rather the bikes which I love to ride, and they're are a pleasure. They are pleasure. Wish Indian roads were as smooth as a tarmac, which I found in Leh Ladakh. Oh, I don't think I would have ever gone home. I would have been just riding.
Yeah, we'll come to that. So that was a proud biker with his proud bikes. I mean, proud biker with luxury bikes. Mind that.
Luxury sports bike.
Luxury sports bike. So do you want to share an experience, any funny incident while you were riding in these so many years? Any funny experience that you recall?
I think there are a lot of experiences that we, always carry. But, it's always about passion and care that we always have when we ride. It's not just with the riders, but when we're riding on the road, that's how I come to this incident. So this friend of mine, Rakesh, with his wife, and we were on a road traversing, I think we were going to Rameshwaram. And we happened to cross a truck which was having a lot of goats and animals in it. And I moved a little bit ahead, and Rakesh was behind. And so I was just looking at him through my rear view or the side mirror, and I see him pointing up. So I thought maybe I've gone in the wrong direction and I need to stop. So I slowed on my bike, And but before I could even stop my bike, I turned. And when I turn, your body turns, and then this the whole bike turned, and that's when my bike slipped, and I'm like down. And while he's trying to talk with the truck driver to get the goat's leg inside, and that was I'm like guys, I thought we are riding, and this is what. So that was little. I know it was just like I stop. I am about to stop. I turn and I fall. So that's something which was a little very hilarious actually, and we all end up laughing. He leaves that guy and he runs to me to get my bike up. But yeah, that's how it is. So that was, though it's a fall, but it was a funny fall.
Yeah, totally. So that's fun. So I'm sure there are a lot of incidents like this which are funny and memorable. So we'll ask a few more. So you guys stay tuned. As a biker, everybody dreams of certain milestones to achieve, with his bike. So have you achieved your milestone? And if yes, then what was it?
I think as a biker, one can never achieve their milestones because after completing one milestone, it's another that we always run for. So I'll give you why I'm saying this is because when I bought my Harley and all I knew was to ride. Okay, so I remember we were going to Calcutta, and that's when I had completed 10,000 miles, or rather 10,000 kilometers. And in a Harley Davidson, it's like every 10,000 kilometer you cover, or you on your Harley Davidson bike, you get a tag. So as a recognition. So that Calcutta ride was close to 4,000 kilometers, and I had already crossed or touched 6,000. So I remember when we were towards the end of the trip, that's when I completed 10,000, and there was it was a first milestone. It's a short, small milestone for me, but for others, or rather
for
us,
others, but for you it was a big one.
For me, it was like my first 10,000.
Yeah.
So we all gathered, and while we were on the ride, I was given that 10,000 ka badge, and Ritesh was there, Rakesh was there, and it was a very proud moment. Like I've achieved. Yeah. So yeah, that was one. But after that, I remember I was telling Ritesh and guys that guys, kuch to karna chahiye. And I always watch Ritesh and Rakesh and a few of them who have these Harley Pan America, who go on these trips to the mountains. And mountains and lay nahi kiya. I was like always telling them, guys, lay karna chahiye, lay karna chahiye. So this time when the opportunity came, we were like, yes. I was like, I'm in. Ritesh says, we have to go. I said, kitna dena hai? I didn't ask where, what. I know it's late, so I said, kitna dena hai? As in, how much do I pay for the initial arrangements? So it was all decided, and we all gathered up, and we, planned, Ritesh and guys planned the whole trip. And that's when we went to Leh, and the ride was to achieve a target of reaching the highest motorable point, that's Omlingla, which is at 19,024 feet above sea level. Yeah, and there
it's quite a high altitude.
Yes, there are a lot of challenges in that. One, because it's cold out there. Second, you get acute mountain sickness. AMS. So that's when, because it's at such a height, you get low oxygen. Right. And because of low oxygen, firstly, your body is not acclimatized to sudden change in the altitude and all. That's when you get a lot of headache, and some people have a lot of things. So while we took all precautions, that day it was an amazing day. There was a good sunlight. We all 20 of us rode all 20 together in a line, reaching that Omlingla point, staying there for more than 15 to 20 minutes.
What is the recommended time to stay there?
Normally 15 minutes, and then you have to wrap up and move because it should not hit you bad. But we stayed there, we had our moments, and we even got the certificates were given to us. We didn't realize what those certificates were until we came back and when we saw that we were given the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wow, guys, Guinness Book of World Record. This is quite an achievement that this guy has achieved.
Yeah, me along with my group, and thanks to this PBR team. I think this is one of the most memorable rides because this is where I did my first off-roading. I was shit scared. I was to stand for the next 30 to 40 kilometers on my bike. So riding on bikes.
Oh, 30 to 40 kilometers standing.
Yeah. But that's how one does an off-roading. You normally stand. But me being lazy bit, I used to sit down on my bike as and when I got that opportunity. Okay, don't record this. I used to sit down, but the pleasure, just the dire pleasure or the sheer pleasure of achieving or riding through a new terrain altogether, that was something. That was something. And I think Leh Ladakh Omlingla ride 2025 will be etched in my mind, heart for a very, very long time.
So that's Leh Ladakh, and Leh Ladakh is something which is trending, going viral everywhere from a scenic beauty perspective, from riding perspective, and one of the most desired tourist destinations as well. So let's ask him more related to the Leh Ladakh trip of the entire biking group. So tell us, in Leh Ladakh, we've heard that the temperatures fluctuate. There are a lot of weather conditions that as a person, and especially as a biker, you need to acclimatize yourself. So were there phases, were there days where you felt uncomfortable and due to the weather conditions, and were there also places where you thought that no, I can't maybe achieve the highest altitude, this is not going to happen, this looks tough, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, firstly, when we decide to get onto a ride, it's like we are mentally prepared for it. But when it comes to being practical, yes, there are a lot of factors that we need to take care of, especially when you're in such terrain wherein the temperature, it just changes, the climate changes, the weather changes. There are a lot of things that happens, and we know that there were multiple landslides that were happening. So we were supposed to go to Khardunga as well, one of those highest passes as well, not the, but yeah. So we were going. There was a landslide. We had no option but to turn back and come. So that day just went, but I had our rest. The thing is, when we are going from one level altitude to a very high altitude, so I believe, if I'm not wrong, Leh is close to around 11,000. That's above sea level, feet above sea level, and Omlingla is 19,000. So it's around 9,000 feet that we need to get ourselves acclimatized. So we spend one day in Leh to get acclimatized to the low air oxygen level. Before our riding, our oxygen and blood pressures were taken so that we are knowing that we are fit enough to go. But at the same time, we were told that we are supposed to carry certain medicines because you normally get an acute headache.
Yeah.
So we normally used to carry a Disprin. We always had an oxygen tank just in case it becomes a little bit too uneasy for an individual, because there's a lot of pressure when you're riding anyways.
Right.
There's a lot of it does have a lot of body. There's a lot of tax that there's a lot of pressure on your body. There's a lot of energy that you need. So, and then you have to breathe as well. So oxygen level is less. So we needed to take certain care. We're told that we don't jump around, or we needed to walk slow. And if you're in a panic situation, you don't need to be panicked. But best way is in such situation to be calm. Just calm, breathe in, breathe out. That was one of those things. Temperature fluctuation, yes, definitely one thing that we need to keep, plus rains. Yeah. So while we were riding, we always had an extra pair, or we had our raincoats plus the jackets which we needed, our inners rather. We have thermal wears, which we carried with us. So during that ride, I remember while we were going to Omlingla, we had little snow pellets falling on us, which was very exciting. But at the same time, we realized that when we reach on the top, it will be like chilling. So because we used to realize that chilling, because when the minute we used to remove our gloves, that's when we could feel, oh, it's too cold. Or we used to open the visor, that's when we realized, oh, it is chilling. Otherwise, till the time, that's where it helped us, because we were all equipped, our jackets, our liners, our everything. So we never felt very cold, and we had our rain gears as well. So there are a lot of things, guys, when we travel at such places, to be well prepared. We had a very good team. We were 20 riders.
Okay.
20 riders, 3 jeeps, one jeep to carry our luggage, and 2 Isuzus for any, and a mechanic. So we had 2 Isuzus with 1 mechanic, 1 guide, and Tarun, he's one of those pro mechanics. He had worked with, he had a lot of experience with Harley. He has worked in Harley, and now he has his own biking store and mechanic shop at Delhi. So he was there with us. So the one confidence level was already high, so we never bothered about those things. So yes, when we go to such places, you should make sure you have a team with you, because you never know, because the terrain is very rough. So every post our ride, we used to have our bikes checked, chain loops done, maintenance of basic things, so that nothing is loose, because you're at a high altitude, you're riding fast. So these things, yes, lot of things. I can go on and on, but yeah, just to keep myself limited, one should be having the right gears. You should keep yourself hydrated, have your respective medicines, get yourself consulted with your doctor before you go for a ride. So these are certain basic things that one should always keep in mind when you're having, or when you're on the ride.
So you heard him, guys. So there are a lot of preps to be done, though it's a very viral destination, but it requires a lot of preparations, mentally, physically, emotionally. You need to be ready when you're going to such destinations with high altitude. And especially if you're a biker, do take his advice, because he's already been there, done that. And he's very proud of the fact that he's achieved a milestone. But it is very essential to be taking all the precautions while you're going. The terrain of Leh Ladakh was obviously not easy, but you've been biking since a lot of time. So how do you mentally and physically prepare before any ride?
Yeah, it's a very valid and a very good question, because one just can't sit on a bike and start riding. Yeah, one has to be physically fit, and more than physically, it's the endurance and mentally fit. So when you're mentally fit, you can endure a lot of things that happens on a while riding on a bike, because you have to expect the unexpected is how things are for a biking. Uh, yeah, physically fit, definitely. That doesn't mean you need to go to a gym or something, but yeah, your basic walks, your cardios, your basic, your lower back has to be strong. So you need to do certain exercises which are good for your lower backs. Your core should be strong, and basic, you should be able to lift, or you should have strength enough to just be a little stronger than your usual. So before a long bike trip, one always needs to start with a few basic checks. Make sure that you're healthy, you're not ill, you're not, because if you're not well, please don't go for a bike ride, because you never know how it is. Mentally prepared, yes, you need to, when you're doing these kind of long rides. So I think it's a good that you always have some riding experience. Go for your Sunday rides, sit with your gang, understand the difficulties, the concerns, the terrain issues, or no matter what, hear it from the experienced riders on how things are. They will definitely guide you, tell you what best to be done for specific rides. Otherwise, if it's a normal one, like a Pune to Kanyakumari or Rameshwaram, the roads are very good post Maharashtra, and you will really love the riding experience. So that's not difficult. So, but if you're specifically targeting the mountain rides, the off-roadings, you have to have that experience. At least be one with your bike. The key word is be one with your bike. You understand your bikes. so that you, when you're riding in such terrains, you are confident that your bike will never fail you, but it is your mind that fails you when you are at a tough spot. The bike is known to only go forward, and your mind stops it at times, and that's when you fall. So you need to know exactly how to deliver yourself to the best. So yeah.
So channelize your mind and your bike will be steady. That's what he says. Okay, so from a biker's perspective, how often do you practice?
So, from a biker's perspective, we have been riding for long, so that's one practice, and it keeps adding to it. The experiences, it's like life का experience. जैसे biking का भी experience होता है. So, and Sunday rides, I think it's a good time wherein you bond with your fellow riders. You go to any spot, so you ride at least 100 to 200 kilometers on the weekend. Come back, chill, relax, enjoy your Sunday brunch or maybe a nice dinner with a beer. So that's how we usually do it. It's mostly on a Sundays that we ride. Sometimes it's on and off, but whenever we get a chance, I don't mind riding every day.
True biker by heart he is. Okay, so one advice before we close the interesting podcast, one advice that you will give to the new bikers or who want to just start biking or are thinking, contemplating about whether to get a bike or not, or which bike to get.
Yeah. So today in today's market, you have a lot of bikes, the super bikes, the basic bikes, and the adventure riders. But what I will say is go. But I'll tell you one thing: every bike. It's like that movie wherein the bike, the dragon chooses its rider. So here also the bike chooses its own rider. Your bike will be waiting for you till you go and meet it.
So you just need to set your eyes right on the right bike.
Yes, and you will find your soul rider. And once you have it, I can tell you, you and your bikes will be inseparable. You are meant for it and the bike is meant for it. So don't give it too much of heat. But now to come to on a practical perspective, yes, you should try out a lot of bikes, see which is comfortable. Adventure bikes which are light to move around. You need to understand if you like a cruiser bike, you just want to sit on a bike and cruise for long. You're the off-roader kind of a bike. So the journey evolves you as an individual. Like I started with a cruising bike, just sitting on a bike and just cruising off. And then I realized, no, I want to do off-roading as well. So you might have you might end up with one or two more bikes or three or, but end of the day, it's what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable with that machine. That's you and your machine who knows it better. So while there are many bikes, but I'll still say, go with your gut feel. Go with what makes you happy.
So guys, we'll put an end to the podcast. Thank you for listening. So you heard Neetesh, who's a soul biker, and he told you the best way to unwind a Sunday, that it's basically the best company that you guys can ever have is you in your bike.
And the brotherhoods.
And the brotherhoods, yeah. So he's a part of Pune Brotherhood Riders. If you're in Pune and you want to be a part of it, so do reach out to him and he'll share all the details.
Thank you, Anshu.
Thank you,
I appreciate
Neetesh.
it.